Breaking news, breaking story, tracking storms. News Channel 25 and 5.
More than 40 years in prison and a dishonorable discharge. That's what Sergeant Gregory McQueen is facing in the first days of his court-martial.
Now, McQueen ran a prostitution ring in Killeen. News Channel 25's Grant Herms tells us there's still one charge that Fort Hood soldier's fighting before he learns his fate. Grant?
Bruce, and McQueen pleaded guilty to 15 of 21 counts against him. After hours of testimony, McQueen, all that's left today, a single charge, something similar to battery and assault. His plea deal did wipe away a few charges, but he's quite possibly looking at the rest of his life behind bars. Accusing of adultery, pandering, attempted pandering, conspiracy to patronize and solicit a prostitute, maltreatment of a subordinate, violating orders, sexual abuse, and assault by battery. McQueen pleaded guilty to all but the last two. After hours of agreeing to those charges against him, the judge announced he could spend the next 40 years and 6 months in prison with a dishonorable discharge from the Army. McQueen sat emotionless as he learned the possibility of his fate. In front of the judge, but no jury, the government agreed to waive the sexual assault charge and 5 other counts in exchange for a guilty plea. But McQueen stood firm in that final charge, saying he's innocent. The court outlined the case: 3 women enticed to work for him as prostitutes on post in 2013, while McQueen served as a leader in the sexual assault prevention program. Using one recruit to get 2 others, he tried to sell them for sex with other soldiers at swinger or stripper parties, using phrases like "tip her" and "she'll show you a real good time." McQueen even went as far as sleeping with one of the privates in the ring and used pictures of her in lingerie to entice other men to have sex with her. That accomplice has immunity in this case. Only one followed through in this ring. The others declined or were stopped by the investigation. Now, the charge being argued over inside right now would only add about 6 months to this maximum sentence. That would make that an even 41 possible years in jail. Coming up at 6, hear what one victim had to say about McQueen and whether or not his fate will be decided tonight. Live on Fort Hood, Grant Herms, News Channel 25.
This is your First Alert weather.
Once again, the clouds won out here in central Texas, keeping the sunshine at bay, and it looks like that trend will continue right into tomorrow as well. Lots of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and that is keeping the clouds in for us, with temperatures only into the upper 50s and low 60s today. And look at all the moisture down along the Texas Gulf Coast from Brownsville all the way up to Galveston. That will continue to roll to the north tonight, with a chance of showers across the eastern half of central Texas as we get into tomorrow, and it will keep the clouds for the entire region. So we have brought highs down considerably for tomorrow afternoon, but we will have an improving weekend for you, and I'll have that forecast coming up.
We begin our crime beat in Killeen, where a man is in critical condition after he was shot this morning in broad daylight during an attempted robbery. Just after 11 a.m., police arrived at the Hillcrest Apartments on Jennifer Drive and found a 22-year-old man lying on the ground with a gunshot wound. He was responsive. The manager of the complex says she heard the gunfire.
He was laying on the ground moaning. Nobody wanted him to move, of course, and he was trying to move, but he was laying on his leaned over his arm, like his face was down in the ground.
Well, the victim told police a man and a woman drove up in a blue car. The man got out of the passenger's side, demanded money, shot him, and then the two drove away. No arrests have been made.
Caldwell police are investigating the death of a man found by one of his family members this morning. The 47-year-old Stephen Bryant of Caldwell was discovered just after 7:30 this morning on Old Somerville Road. And the Caldwell police, the Burleson County deputies, the Texas Rangers, and DPS troopers responded, but they're not releasing any more information.
A Teague man remains in critical condition after being shot during a home invasion robbery earlier this week, and now a 19-year-old woman has been arrested. Doug Hurst was critically wounded in the stomach, but not before he was able to shoot and kill one of the men who'd entered his home. On Monday morning, 19-year-old Joshua Mulkey was found dead outside Hurst's home. Now Amber Hope Halford joins O'Jarian McLennan and Lawson Abram in facing aggravated robbery charges.
Police say an elderly man who was found wandering alongside the highway in Bell County told them that he was beaten and robbed. A passerby saw the man along Old Troy Road near Old Highway 81 north of Troy about 8 this morning. The man was confused, couldn't remember what exactly happened to him, but he did tell officers a group of men beat him up, dropped him on the side of the road, and then drove off in his truck.
21-year-old Stephanie Brown was put behind bars after she was found with drugs while inside a police station. The woman was talking with officers about a verbal disturbance she was involved in, and police say she was acting strangely, so they brought in a canine officer named Zita who verified Brown had a small amount of meth in her backpack.
Search continues off the coast of Florida, but 11 military members are now presumed dead after a helicopter on a training mission crashed last night. Pentagon officials say heavy fog may have played a role in the Black Hawk accident, but the exact cause is still under investigation. It was a special operations night training exercise involving 7 Marines from Camp Lejeune in North Carolina and 4 members of the National Guard. 2 helicopters took off on the training mission from Eglin Air Force Base in the Panhandle, but one of them turned back because of a weather condition. The other Black Hawk is the one that crashed. President Obama called the special ops and National Guard commanders.
The President reassured the commanders of the nation's deep appreciation for the many sacrifices that our men and women in uniform and their families make to protect and defend our country.
The Black Hawk went down near a remote stretch of beach owned by the military and used for training missions. The names of the troops involved in the accident have not yet been released.
A former member of the University of Oklahoma SAE chapter says the freshman seen on video leading the chant will learn his lesson over time.
After 19-year-old freshman Parker Rice told the Dallas Morning News his goal in the future is to reject racism, a sign was placed outside his Dallas home by an outraged mother of biracial daughters. It read, "Racism is taught." William James, who believes he was the last African-American to be a part of the OU chapter of SAE, says Rice will likely deal with similar discrimination.
He now is going to experience something that very few people he associates with understands, of walking into a room and being prejudged just because of how he looks. And that's going to be new for him. That's going to be an education.
Parents of the other boy identified in the video, Levi Pettit, created a website for the sole purpose of issuing an apology.
And today, the president of the University of Texas says he is looking into reports the SAE chapter there used exactly the same chant. In a message released yesterday evening, UT President Bill Powers acknowledged that more could have been done last month in response to a Phi Gamma Delta fraternity party with a south of the border theme, where fraternity members wore sombreros, ponchos, and mariachi outfits. Comparing this incident to the OU SAE racial slurs, Powers says both were hurtful and offended many. He then revealed the university is aware of rumors the SAE chapter at UT used the same chants as Oklahoma.
Ferguson, Missouri Police Chief Thomas Jackson resigned today. This comes after the Department of Justice released a scathing report last week, concluding that just about every branch of Ferguson government, police, municipal court, and city hall participated in unlawful targeting of African-American residents for tickets and fines. The report mentioned both Jackson and City Manager John Shaw, who will also be stepping down.
Utah could be bringing back the firing squad as a form of execution. Utah's state senate approved legislation yesterday to make the state the only one in the nation to have the firing squad option. Supporters say the firing squad is a quick, easy way to kill a prisoner, but one opponent isn't so sure.
I think it will be bad if Utah is the only state that is actively shooting people. I just think it's a bad precedent, and I think it's a place we shouldn't go.
Under the bill, the firing squad would only be used if the drugs necessary for lethal injection are not available. The firing squad was legal in Utah up until 2004. The bill now goes to Utah's governor for consideration.
A new dad and actor Ashton Kutcher says more men's restrooms should have changing tables. The actor tweeted there are never diaper changing stations in men's public restrooms. He says the first place he finds one will get a shout out on his Facebook page. Kutcher and his fiancée, Mila Kunis, welcomed their daughter 5 months ago.
Texas could join Hawaii and Arizona in refusing to observe daylight savings time. Today, Texas lawmakers are considering House Bill 150 that would make springing ahead and falling back a thing of the past. It was drafted by Representative Dan Flynn of Canton and is under debate today. Objections to daylight savings time include it actually costs money rather than save it and is bad for your health. If it passes the full legislature, it would go into effect next September.
Does that story have you talking or yawning? We want to know what you're talking about, how you feel about some of the key issues making news. Here are the three candidates on today's Community Hot Topic list. Do you think we should do away with daylight savings time?
Would you support firing squad executions, or should there be more baby changing tables in men's bathrooms? You can tell us which of these stories you have an opinion on by voting at kxxv.com.
It was a cloudy day. May could be hanging around into tomorrow, maybe even bringing some rain.
That's correct. Parts of central Texas will see rain tomorrow, especially the eastern half of the area. I'll have the latest where I'm tracking with that and an improving weekend coming up.
And when we come back, the Pope spoke about concerns ISIS terrorists have threatened his life.
Plus, Hillary Clinton's email scandal has resulted in a lawsuit and has experts talking about her possible presidential run. And if you see breaking news or have a story you'd like us to look into, call our news tip line at 254-757-2525 or email us at ideas@kxxv.com. You're watching News Channel 25 at 5. Big names gathered on Capitol Hill today as President Obama looks for authorization to use military force against ISIS. A Senate committee is considering the proposal, which has been met with skepticism by both major parties. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter urged lawmakers to approve the president's request.
We encourage a serious debate, but I urge you to pass the president's AOMF because it provides the necessary and authority and flexibility to wage our current campaign, and because it will demonstrate to our men and women in uniform, some of whom are in harm's way right now, that all of us stand unflinchingly behind them.
Secretary of State John Kerry and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Martin Dempsey also testified before the Senate panel.
There are concerns that ISIS may be threatening Pope Francis. The commander of the Vatican Security Forces says such a threat exists, but they don't know of a specific plot. The pontiff opened up in an interview with an Argentine magazine about the possibility of someone trying to harm him, saying he's prayed about assassination and he is at peace with that happening.
The Associated Press has filed a lawsuit against the State Department demanding the release of emails from Hillary Clinton's time as Secretary of State. The agency says it's been filing Freedom of Information Act requests for the correspondence for years, but they've gone unfulfilled. The AP's general counsel says the action is important because she is, quote, a presumptive 2016 presidential candidate. Experts say she's more than presumptive.
She is now in the mix. She's answering questions like a candidate. This may change the time frame a little bit, maybe push up by a few weeks the timing of an announcement.
Meanwhile, many are debating whether they believe Clinton when she said she only used one device to keep things simple. A video from last month is circulating in which Clinton says she had an iPhone and a BlackBerry.
The hacking of the State Department email system over the past year is the worst ever against a government agency. That's according to federal law enforcement. Intelligence and congressional officials briefed on an investigation. Hackers likely working for the Russian government are suspected in the attack. The same group is also believed to be behind hacks on the White House's email system and against several other federal agencies. Back in November, State Department officials shut down the email system for a few days to try to improve security and block those intruders.
And now a new report suggests retailers aren't doing much to protect customer data from hackers. According to a Verizon cybersecurity report, companies tend to bulk up their security just before passing payment card industry tests, which are needed if shops wish to accept credit cards. But the report says just 29% of those companies keep security at that high level once the test is over. The report also says companies regularly fail to patch systems for bugs, as well as update passwords and firewalls.
Streaming services like Netflix or Amazon are growing in popularity with Americans. That's according to Nielsen. 40% of households with traditional television also have an online streaming account like Netflix or Amazon. The Nielsen study found mostly young and middle-aged households, along with families, log on to watch programs. Media giants like Time Warner and Viacom are trying to get in on the streaming frenzy by offering video subscriptions that do not require cable providers directly to consumers.
Clouds have been covering the area, and there's not much of a silver lining.
Well, Matt, these clouds could bring us some rain to central Texas.
That's right. We will likely see that across the eastern half of the area as we get into tomorrow. We'll have a look at our future track in just a second, but Extra Co Eagle Eye in Killeen showing lots of cloud cover. 50s, Killeen and Temple, 60 in Waco and Bryan College Station. So it has been kind of a cool day again. Tomorrow, very similar conditions with some showers around. I'll have that forecast right after this.
This Stock Market Report brought to you by the Law Office of Darrell Luce.
Chief Meteorologist Matt Hines has the National Weather Association seal of approval.
It's been another mostly cloudy day here in central Texas. There have been a couple of peaks of sun across our far western areas, west of Copper's Cove. But other than that, clouds, gray skies. Extraco, Eagle Eye, and Coves, 57. And winds are out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. We did make it 60 in Waco. That's good. 58 degrees in Mejia, 57 Gatesville, Killeen, and Temple, and 60 in Bryan College Station. A lot of folks are asking, where's spring? Well, officially, it's still winter here across the area. And relative humidity values anywhere between 60 and 70%. So the moisture sticks around and it's not going anywhere. And in fact, it will increase tomorrow. Winds are out of the north and northeast, anywhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour. These will continue to blow tonight and be out of the north. However, we are tracking a system down in the south that which will continue to ride to the north. So you can see the cooler air across the southeastern half of Texas, 50s and low 60s. Then you head into West Texas. They've seen sunshine. It's in the 70s there. So those clouds making for a huge impact across the eastern part of the state. And you can see a very sharp dividing line. Dallas-Fort Worth seeing sunshine. We are not. And there is plenty of rain down along the Texas Gulf Coast from the coastal bend all the way up into the Galveston, Beaumont, Port Arthur areas. That will continue to ride up to the north. So there's our system there. That will bring some rainy conditions across the eastern half of central Texas tomorrow over into East Texas as well as it continues to ride our way. So let's check out your future track, and it is showing clouds tomorrow and showers mainly along and east of I-35. There will be a sharp dividing line across the area. By the afternoon, few showers will stick around. Highs will be in the 50s east, 60s out to the west. Then we get to your Friday. Finally, things start to improve area-wide. We will still have mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s and low 50s here. By the afternoon, highs will get back up into the upper 60s with hopefully a few more breaks in the clouds, but we're still going to call for mostly cloudy skies Friday and Saturday. We'll watch those temperatures closely for you. Our rain tracker showing the bulk of the heavier rain staying well to the east of I-45. Madisonville, you might be right on the edge of that with over an inch of rain according to the rain tracker. I think this is a little overdone in Temple, but I do want to make the point that notice the sharp dividing line from zeros to rain. So that's going to be very close to the I-35 corridor for tomorrow and into tomorrow evening. So tonight we will drop down to about 50 in Waco, same for Temple and Killeen, 51 in Centerville, some 40s back to the west. Tomorrow, 60s west, 66 in Saba, heading underneath the clouds and the rain though, 50s Waco to the east, and winds will be out of the north at 5 to 15 miles per hour. So our weather tracker, 10 o'clock, mid-50s, down to close to 50 in the morning, on and off showers across the eastern half of central Texas tomorrow, with highs mainly in the upper 50s of 59 for our official high. But again, there's going to be a wide range across the area, 50s east, 60s west. 69 degrees on Friday as the rain moves out. 68 degrees Saturday, and how about some 70s? We're going to put it in Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and keep our fingers crossed that nothing else wants to develop down in the Gulf and move our way. So we will continue to track that. So maybe a few thunderstorms by the middle part of next week.
Yeah, we'll take those 70s.
We will. It's about time.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, fast food restaurants have made noticeable efforts to make their menus healthier.
But are moves like eliminating soda from kids' menus enough? Details of a new CDC report coming up on Health Connection.
One fast food giant this week says it is dropping soda from its kids' menu.
But are moves like this enough to keep our kids safe from obesity? With more, here's Bazi Kanani for Health Connections.
The soda with that kids' meal may soon be a thing of the past. Burger King announcing this week they will be taking soda off their kids' meals menu, offering milk, apple juice, or water instead. It's the latest in a series of recent steps that fast food giants have taken to slim down these offerings. But whether these changes make fast food healthy for kids is another matter. A recent CDC report found that over the past 17 years, major fast food chains have made dramatic changes in their meals for both adults and kids, slashing calories in more than half of their offerings, and taking steps to cut out trans fat. But the report also showed increases in sodium in a third of fast foods offered by major chains. And some health experts still find the marketing of fast food to kids problematic. For parents, another reminder that even as fast food options for kids may be getting healthier, that kids' meal should still only be an occasional indulgence. A bit of moderation goes a long way in making that meal a happy one. With this Medical Minute, I'm Bazi Kanani.
Matt has a final look at your forecast.
And here are today's 3 community questions. Texas lawmakers considering House Bill 150 that would make springing ahead and falling back a thing of the past.
Utah's state senate approved legislation yesterday to make the state the only one in the nation to have the firing squad option as a form of execution.
And new dad and actor Ashton Kutcher says more men's restrooms should have changing tables. You'll vote for one of these questions as your hot topic of the day on our website, kxxv.com.
I'm with him on that. All right, 7-day forecast. 59 degrees on Thursday, 50% chance for some showers, mainly along and east of I-35. It will be warmer out to the west. Goldthwaite, San Saba, you'll likely be in the mid to upper 60s. Waco to the east into the 50s. 69 degrees Friday, 68 on Saturday. 70s finally make an appearance early next week, and we may even have a couple thunderstorms around next Wednesday with highs getting close to 70 degrees.
Very good. Thanks, Matt. That's it for News Channel 25 at 5. For up-to-the-minute news, weather, and sports, check out our website, kxxv.com. You can add us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Our mobile app's available. Just search KXXV.
ABC's World News is next, and we'll see you soon.